Hey, thanks for the shirt. Thanks for the shirt. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Justin. Hey, Joe. We got all these people that want to show up now that the pandemic. When we say it's opening up. Ozzy's, there's music happening. I walk by in Alameda, Webster Street. I hear music in the distance. I check it out. I see the piano. Yeah, exactly. We got our masks on. I come in, I follow the piano, I go up the stairs, and I hear music happening. Tell Justin and I, we're out for lunch. We want to be cool at Ozzy. So tell us the epic. You're walking into your classroom, but you're playing a song, Enter Sandman?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I had a 9-year-old over the summer say that her favorite song was Enter Sandman, and we're preparing for a Halloween show that we're going to perform at like a front porch concert at one of my friend's house or one of my clients' houses here in town. And so Enter Sandman has been one of the tunes we're working on. It's got an iconic guitar part. So what I want to do today is I'm going to give you and Justin a little assignment. And I want you guys to sing along with it. Okay. So, and this is what happens at the Academy is I will have students come in who have zero background, and the parents say, well, I should just do one to see if he likes it, and I'm saying, okay, well, there's certain things we do and we just have to try our best and then eventually we get it. But it's my job then to sell the little guys on having fun while making music on the first day. And so, Justin, I don't think you've got it. You don't have any instruments with you within arm's reach, do you?
No, unfortunately not.
So Justin, you're a drummer today.
Okay.
So Justin, I'm just going to have you tap your hands. Dum, 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 dum,
okay.
dum, 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 dum. And then the level 2 version would just be to hit both hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and bop, 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 bop. And Matt, you're just going to be driving on one note. We always just start with like one string on an instrument. You're just going to play that E. And then in a second, Matt, you're going to switch and you're going to put your hand on that F sharp, which is the 2nd fret on the top string. Say your prayers, little one, don't forget my son, to include everyone. Tuck you, fall within, keep you free, sing till the sand you come. F sharp. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight, exit light. And tonight, take my hand, off the Neverland. There's a little song for you today.
Thank you.
Thanks for playing along, Justin and Matt.
Yeah.
And we just play along simple. Again, part of this is, we use it as a metaphor for the people that know us, but playing in a band, it's a metaphor for life, or playing on a sports team. What do we need to do? We need a beat, rhythm. We can kind of dissect, analyze a song. It's kind of fun. It doesn't cause us stress. Maybe Joe sometimes, because he's got to get a Halloween performance ready, people singing in cue or tune. But then we use it for life. And when I say, Justin spent a lot of time, and I do, advising students. Justin's at a UC admissions conference this week. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, every year in the fall, the University of California will host a conference for let's say high school counselors, and also a private intervention consultants as well, about updates to the UC admissions and applications process. And so it's kind of interesting this year because they went test optional. And also now they're going to go test blind. They're not going to take any standardized tests such as the ACT and SAT. So it's kind of a new situation.
Right? And clarify, not accepting. Is that what you said?
They won't consider it. You don't need to take any ACT or SAT tests, and they won't take this. They won't take your scores.
And can you submit it?
I don't think there's a place for them to submit it. I mean. Now, so now they're just going to attribute that. They're going to evaluate you on about 13 other attributes or criteria. It used to be 14, but then they took away the ACT and SAT test scores.
So to play this out, if I'm going to play Enter Sandman, I got to play E and F sharp. If I'm going to get into college, I need good grades, but I don't need the SAT. This kind of change, this kind of chord change, this kind of expectation change messes with people. But again, follow up with us specifically if you're applying to college. But this is the kind of news. Look, you want to play in a band, you go to Ozzy's and you want to, be in tune and play in the band, great. This is what you need to do. If we're playing Enter Sandman, I'm not record material yet, Joe? I don't think I'm stage ready, but still at Ozzy's, I can show up and play an E and an F sharp.
Your music is your music, Matt. I'm not going to take that away from you.
But this is why the 2 of you are so great for me every morning when we meet in the hallway, right? We have different contexts. Again, we go into our own classrooms and hallways, and thanks for joining us, everybody, each week, and all the comments continue this conversation. But again, we use Joe's, young children as this metaphor of playing in a band. And I think as parents and adults and grandparents do this, it's not that we didn't play music, but what happens is we have so many different points. I would say that one of the best conversations I've had, these different decades of life, we have different relationships with music. And if we all reflect on that for a minute, because Justin's dealing with the decade of music and I am 18, you're 18 years old. Music means a certain thing, and that's much different when you're, 30, 40, 50, 60. But let's just talk about that for a minute, and then we'll go from there. But Joe, again, we got to tease. Joe still treats me like I'm 8 years old, first decade of my life, and I appreciate it because I need the E, the G, and my relationship with music was my parents' old record player. It didn't even look like it was a big stereo. There's probably a name for it, and I remember all the records. And I remember looking at the albums, reading the lyrics, playing that's my relationship, my first decade of life. I don't know what's some of your relationship, but Justin, I always tease you.
That's mine. That's mine too. Yeah, that's mine too. I remember all those Harry Belafonte albums and Pete Seeger and also a lot of classical music. My parents really liked classical music. They liked opera, so I got exposed to a lot of I guess an eclectic collection of music,
via records.
Via records, yeah. And I guess I'm also dating myself. Is also when cassette tapes came out and we had like a tape player. We learned how to record. We would swap record albums and record borrow them and then record them on tape, or we'd even make our own mixtapes.
Right, yeah, that transition, the parents' generation into our generation.
Yeah,
and then again, as here, we all grow up because we're all born in different decades, and then we all grow up, and then what happens is music evolves, and now we've got the iPhone, right? We go from records to CDs to whatever digital media, and now we have digital media right now. But Joe, what's a memory of a certain decade you can remember? That's.
Oh man, it was so great, man. I remember, so my parents were separated when I was young. So one of the things that I did, I was the baby of the three of my siblings. So I spent a lot of time with grandma and grandpa. And when I would ride around with grandma, when she was running errands, she always listened to the NPR radio and was playing classical music in the car. So I was just listening to the timbre of all the different strings and brass instruments and the varying stages of percussion and melody, and just taking a lot of that in. That was a really fundamental piece of my first 10 years of musical experience, because my mom was a bit of a radio in the car person, but my dad wasn't a radio in the car person. So my car radio experiences were like 98.5 FM and NPR radio, so yeah, great.
Yeah, well, my experience with 98.5 FM was a little different. The old KOME. FM.
We don't know. We didn't grow up when you did, Joe. Doesn't we? What was FM? What kind of?
There was at the time there was a kind of a wild and crazy DJ called Dennis Erectus. And he would say, KOME, it's his, and it was something he'd be a little risque with some of the things he'd done. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of them. There was a much wider variety of radio stations, back then than there is now.
What genre was that?
Okay, well, it's like rock, and stuff like that, and there's Dennis Erectus, and then you've got like the drive-by guys. I mean, the drive time guy, like Dr. Don Rose was that's like for your morning commute. Yeah.
So think of these are here. My point of doing this. So first off, we're modeling conversations. We're all of different generations. So any extended family can have this kind of conversation. Talk about music through the decades. And so, and think about these. When the Walkman, we were talking about cassette tapes. I remember same thing, making a mixtape. You all remember making a mixtape? Most children have not made a mixtape, right? These are different decades. Walkman, we all remember Walkman. And again, we can all, and what I'm showing, these are sparks for conversations to have because we have personal connections, but then there are also some general kind of like, and what I'm showing is, look, the older guy, Justin, starts talking about things that again, and the biggest Bay Area market. Joe and I grew up in different states, different decades, and Justin's right. Those people right on. And it's like, oh, of course. And then as rock evolves into, what do we call the 90s? Grunge or alternative?
Yeah, so that was the start of grunge, I think. Yeah, and right, and then also now you get ethnic radio too. You have with immigration, you also have their different radio music. From depending on let's say for example, the Indian community has a radio station. Let's say there's
what's that?
Yeah. Well, like radio Zindagi, right?
Oh, Zindagi. Oh, that's right.
Right. For example. And now with digital, I guess technology, you can, and also availability, you can get all sorts of music from all different sources. So in some ways, it's you have a wide variety of music, but on the other hand, because of the consolidation of commercial radio, there's less local reporting and about less local news. So that's kind of where the trade-off is.
Let's talk about, and we'll think about it. We're going to shout out and then we'll play another song here, but think about a shout out to music or music education. I mean, besides Ozzy's, Ozzy's are our favorite, but all these other things, something else. But here's my last point when we were talking about all this music, right? It's a lighthearted, same thing with sports and music. They're lighthearted social community events. Why are they so important? I'm evangelical about going out to safe sporting music events. Don't go to I don't know exactly, but I'm not going to go to a stadium, an indoor concert of 100,000 people with, it's not happening for me. But we're all longing to name and tame our emotions going on in this pandemic. We're all longing for, if it's a sporting event or a community event. I went to Jazz Fest in San Jose. It was wonderful, volunteered, safe, outdoor event, plenty of venues. I was serving your wine. But when we talk about these things, we're naming and taming some of these emotions and these things that go on. But what happens is, with my last point here with this is, okay, all these events we're longing for. There is a personal side of music. So when Joe, I'm imagining Joe writes his own song. I do my own thing, right? Joe's more with it than me, but I can express my own blues. And Joe helps me express those. But then there's the social part of it. And I want to just point out both of those to everybody and viewers listening. Continue those. Post comments on places where things are happening. Any social event. We're really talking about music just because we share this common interest. But any community events, these are the kinds of things that have to happen. I want to just and then personally, the radio stations, K-Pig, a shout out to who got me through the pandemic. K-Pig is Freedom, California. Local, I don't think it gets on base side of the mountains here. But if you're out in Freedom, it's a small broadcast network. It's a community. It plays non-traditional radio music. I don't know. We call it Santa Cruz Hillbilly. But shout out to anything, Justin, that got you through the pandemic, something special, and playing with Ozzy, of course. But
well, here's the thing about music and music education and some of the benefits. It goes beyond just being exposed to different music and enjoying genres, but let's say for early childhood education, it can also promote, let's say, arithmetic or math skills, because you have to count or do key signatures. If you play in a group, let's say like in band or orchestra, it teaches you collaborative skills, and also how to work as a team, and also how to represent. I mean, that's actually what I got out of my, I guess, childhood and also early adult involvement with music. So don't sell that short, right? And it's also a social thing. I've had plenty of stories where, let's say, there's this shy kid who, was very shy about talking, but he was in music, and he found that to be a vehicle for expression, and also a way to know people, right? You like your social group, particularly if you're new in town, or maybe you come from another country. If you share a commonality with other people, that's a great way to get to make friends and be social.
And well said. Continue this conversation, everybody. All the benefits of these kind of things, like mathematics, the rhythm. I mean, right? And we're here in the hallways. We're in our own classrooms and things. Joe has students that is showing up soon enough. I was actually out with students outside today. I need to shave here in a few minutes and get to actually the professional things. But I've been out. Actually, we call it surfs up here. I've been having lots of fun at the beach and then outdoors with students all week, and it's a great way to catch with parents too. So, Joe, let's play music. We'll keep going, but let's show us something. What else do we do here, Joe?
You bet, Matt. Like let's dive into another Halloween classic that we get to dive into these days, which the kids all love. This song is "Thriller" by Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. So, young Maddie, we're gonna give you something that's accessible. We got Justin on drums. Great. Same thing again.
Right, Thriller.
It's gonna be 1, 2, 3 together. Boom, boom, pop, boom, boom, pop. That'll be your drum part. So I have kids come in and they're like, I want to play drums, and boy, it takes time to build drums, but you can get the basic patterns down, which is like right, both, right, both, right, both. So that'll be your drum pattern.
Oh, it's like that Queen's "We Will Rock You," huh?
Yep. You have to sped up a little bit because it's the cycle. And then Matt, what I'm gonna have you play is a D on the A string, 5th fret, and you're gonna play a C after it, and you're gonna go ba-dum, da 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 ba-dum, da 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 ba-dum, da 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 ba-dum, and you just get the groove. That's the bass line. Yeah, I see you bobbing. Here we go. It's close to midnight. 1, 2, both. 1, 2, both. 1, 2, both. And under the moonlight, you see your sun almost stop your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is the thriller night. If no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike, you know it's thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer tonight. Dun dun cat, dun dun cat, dun dun cat, and 1, 1, 2, and just grooving this. If you do this, just try this out a little bit, and you'll really. You're a bass. Somebody, I did that one time, and somebody said, "Oh, you're a bass player." That's all it takes. Anyway. That was great. Thanks.
It's wonder, yeah. That's I lost my. I used to have that album. I can't find it anymore. Yeah, it's probably one of the best-selling albums of all time. I believe it. Yeah.
Oh, the Michael Jackson with all. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, Thriller, like just like blew everything out of the water. I'll have to check back at the records on that one.
Decades
in album sales, yeah.
Never Neverland. No, last time I saw Michael Jackson was at Taco Bell down in Santa Maria.
Look at you.
But that's stories for another time here. Let's see. So thank you for joining us, everybody. This is a recording you're watching. Justin, Joe, and I have been doing this since the pandemic. We meet, we're fellow professional educators. We call it the hallways to school success. So when we all have classes to go to for a few minutes, so we'll kind of try to wrap up, because what we do is, I'm in the habit now, every Wednesday morning, people just text me. They communicate with me. My goal is to tell everybody to communicate with more people. So if you're just doing this, you've joined us, my goal is a few things. Just text people, message people in whatever app you're talking about, people you care about. Just keep in touch. That's my primary point. Now, I've been saying that for what, 2 years now, Joe and Justin? Now, Joe and Justin give me advice every week, but what do you want to say to people as we go? Let's turn over to Justin here as you're going. Justin, what's our common sense for, we're in September 2021 now?
Yes.
Common sense. Somebody watches this recording. What are these crazy guys doing? Well, we're trying to show how we kind of have conversations, talk each other up as fathers and college counselors. What's common sense today?
Well, common sense is to be reflective. Think of what activities you like, and then think of what impact that they have on your lives. What you might think is insignificant might be very significant in let's say, your child's development, like music, like sports, or such as community service. Think deeply on what do you get out of it, and it can be beneficial. Something fun can be very beneficial to you and help you in your personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Think about all these different benefits. Again, if it's playing music or if it's a physical activity, I'm really pointing out those two things because that's the kind of things when I talk to people, it's a funny thing. The music part makes you social. It kind of gives you these little minor goals. And Joe, we were talking earlier the week. You were, again, I'm going to turn it over to you to let you say the play, but here's what sticks in my mind about the play. You put yourself in your space. You haven't played. That's different. If you're in the symphony and you're performing for something, the White House or something, sure, you perform a certain way. But for the most part, music is playing. And then we were talking. I got it as, look, I got little goals. Once I'm playing with you, I can see what you're doing, and I have a little goal, like to stay on beat.
Absolutely.
But what's your wisdom? What's common sense for Joe today?
I think what you say is like, I think that's the thing is to let go. Like at my school, with the standards that we use are accuracy and steadiness. That means, are we playing the notes where we're supposed to? Steadiness is, do we play when we're supposed to? And then the last thing we judge is musicality. And how I define musicality is, we're no longer worried about where and how fast we're playing the notes, but we're worried about how does it feel. We're concerned with how does it feel to play the notes. Because oftentimes when we think about, am I playing it correctly, we bring worry into our playing, right? And if you want to play games that make you worry, and you want to watch TV shows that make you worry, like, just be aware that we're choosing to worry rather than choosing to just play. Or that is our play. Our play is worry. What games are you doing? What activities are you doing? How do you engage in those activities? You told me, it's playing. This is just for the sake of being on the basketball court. It's not always about winning. Yes, you want to win, but it's about playing. Like, just using your understanding of the game to be present, and to just be present with an activity. And so I think that it's important then that we are aware of that we are engaging in play. And because it's not boring music. This is what I always say. It's not boring music. It's called playing music, because we're supposed to play and let loose. And it's not always going to be cohesive. It's not always going to be great. It's not always going to be beautiful, but in its simplicity and in the engagement of play comes its beauty. And within our play, when we play, we're able to be present with our emotions. That's the most important part. We're able to be present with our musicality, which is, how does it feel to play what we're playing? And so, like with our song, Thriller, we're bringing a lot of fun and experiences. Like Justin, it immediately goes back to this memory of buying the album, and you talk about seeing Michael Jackson, and we all go back to seeing the first time we saw that video and every time we see it. And so music allows us to be present with that, with those emotions, whatever those emotions may be within ourselves when we play. And so play music today, play music every day, play games, play sports, get outside. We're still in a tough time. I mean, you said the pandemic, it's not over, man. So everybody's dealing with a lot of fear, a lot of anger, disappointment. So play allows us to be present with those, those emotions, and then to find happiness also, and joy and peace.
So well said. Again, just to repeat what I heard from both of you, right? I mean, Justin's talking about multiple benefits of something, right? Look at these multiple benefits. If it's playing basketball, there's so much more than who cares if you win or lose. Like, I don't remember if I look, I usually lost, but I'm going to talk like I won. But I was out on the court. I played basketball, and it had the physical, I'm sweating, I get exercise, those kind of benefits. Same thing, the mathematics and counting, some of these simple things. As we think out, as we send people out of the hallways and we're encouraging you, what we're trying to do is have you help us. Invite us to your classrooms or your schools, your organizations. We talk about all sorts. This is our informal way. But we do, of course. I mean, Joe puts on music shows for a school, like Halloween shows coming up, Christmas performances, like all sorts of stuff. And Justin and I, absolutely, Justin, we've got some up. We've been invited a couple families. We're fellow fathers and parents. So the key here is, oh, I like this. It kind of tells me I got to get out of the hallways. But what happens is we come and we have a conversation with parents about college and career planning. Same thing, SAT, whatever. Just like I'm off rhythm. You don't expect, I'm not a professional musician. It's okay if I'm off rhythm. So, big deal. Big deal if you don't know there's a change in college admissions of SATs, or the particulars. That's what Justin and I come, and I'm looking forward to chatting with more and more parents. Just invite us. It's a great conversation to have. Help us with our efforts of Hallways to School Success. This is part of us creating a supportive community. I'll turn it over, but I'm going to go through in the next 2 minutes, just quickly, Justin and Joe, and if you can just think of some sound bites that you want to pitch. We have our class, the bell's rung. I want to say 90% of my students now are actually on campuses. Not that I'm lonely, I'm kind of happy. I'm getting my more extra, I like it. But it means I'm at home still supporting those schools or students when they need, but they're actually 90%. But what we're doing is help us create a supportive community. We're not out of the pandemic yet. I'm helping Justin and Joe jump over hurdles or big canyons that we faced. And I hope they're doing the same with me. I can think on one side there, I name the problem, and then I kind of jump over. I try to tame it by jumping over it. And my message before, it's for decades here, fam play. That's my word, don't steal it, but that's my family time. And what I mean by that is that's when I unplug from this. I unplug from these videos and computers and all this kind of stuff. Music's wonderful, listen to music, but I unplug from it. I unplug to play with my family, and 15 minutes a day. So that's kind of what it's been crazy pandemic. We did the hallways because we have to meet. I don't get to see Justin and Joe in person very often, or I call it, I don't know, in physical. Fatherhood and family, shout out to you all. Joe, what's going on? You got new things? What's going on, Joe? It's been 2 years now.
Yeah, would you leave that website of mine? Yeah, great news. This way, I have hired a couple teachers, actually. I've got a guitar teacher, a ukulele teacher, and a singing teacher now that are helping augment my programming here at the Academy. My schedule's filling up with my kid rock bands after school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Got piano lessons on Mondays and a park lesson on Fridays. So as far as taking students for one-on-one lessons is starting to get tough. And I'm also now running my own location on Webster Street in Alameda. And so really exciting that I'm launching my holiday break camps, as well as getting my summer camps posted on the website. So just another big year of stuff here, with me and my brand new business. I'm super excited about, bringing music to the community here.
Yeah, right on, Joe. And I'm excited for you because you were talking about you're doing some things in some elementary schools. You've got your after school programs kicking because we got to change this picture. It's old news. That's in your old studio, isn't it? Congrats, Joe, and your old students. Fam play, family activities. Keep us going, everybody, in these hallways. Oh, there's our favorite college counselor, isn't it? This is what we were asking for a few months ago, but we're still asking. We need your help. We need your help because youth, right? Justin and Joe and I, we hope we're doing this for children normally, but they absolutely need extra help as we continue on with this adjustments to the pandemic. Children, youth, teenagers, especially in that decade of their life, especially let's extend it to 25-year-olds. They need care, they need guidance, they need support, they need mentorship. It's not just parents. Justin and I are begging for help of parents, like help our children with mentorship, right? We're good parents. I trust Justin, you know. His father just and my son just don't want to talk to us, but they're dads. So when I say that, that's why that we need aunts, uncles, all this. Teach important lessons in life. Because you're not alone. Justin will help you, I promise. When I don't know something about college, I turn to Justin. This is our, again, we've got this 8 steps. You can find Joe's videos on YouTube online. You can play along with his music. But you can also find Justin online in these 8 steps to college admissions. And what's going, we got, again, about 100 people I see. We just, people enroll. This is online business in the Silicon Valley. We have people that just enroll in this class. They can watch our videos. They just do it at their own pace. Now, Justin, I know secretly, not secretly, but the key here is you were at the UC conference. So you have students, and I do too, online. They're taking our 8 steps to college admissions class. And you're behind the scenes, getting the up-to-date, making sure I'm on track. So what else is new with our 8 steps? The UC with insight here from I'm going to repeat. You can't. I'm going to steal what you can't say. I know the UCs are not requiring or really except even looking, considering SATs, ACTs. Wow, that's good. I mean, good news. Good news to share. What else is new?
Well, I think what's actually very consistent is what hasn't changed is about authenticity. Use the application if you're considering applying to the UCs is really tell your story. Tell your story. Tell about context is really important. Let's say about any challenges you've met. What are some experiences that you've had that have helped shape your, growth as a person? And also, like say, well, why will the UC be a great opportunity for you to grow even more? That hasn't changed.
Oh. And Justin, thank you for telling me that, because my students who I'm reading their essays, and again, we're just giving them feedback, and it's a good rite of passage. Like to have to write personal statements. And what happens, I'm often talking about college level vocabulary and these kind of, oh, this is a good example. But the key is authenticity. Oftentimes we all make mistakes. We kind of puff up our chests or whatever we do to, hey, we're like this. Well, no, it's okay to do as you're drafting, but then at some point you got to kind of put it out there and be authentic. Well said. I'm authentically offbeat. So always success, everybody. Take it away, Joe, and everybody else join us. Thank you for the continued support. I don't know how social media works. I kind of function as a school dean. Like my point when I come on here is to encourage all the grandparents to reach out, encourage your grandchildren need help. They need mentorship. Put them in touch with other people. Keep that going. Aunts, uncles, reach out. If you don't have any children, find young people to play music with, shoot baskets with, hang out. It's good. But what we need to kind of return from this pandemic. So help Justin, help Joe, help myself in the hallways to school success. We're doing it. We don't live an hour from each other, but it's help us. And the last way we'll do it, Joe, you're going to model. We're going to sing.
Play some music. We're going to play a little bit. So Matt, we're going to be we're going to be in the key of D. This song, I'm going to give you the lyrics to Bad Moon Rising, which is a very happy sounding song, which is pretty dark. So I'm going to give you the lyrics that one of my little guys rewrote last year. I see trick-or-treaters coming. I know that candy's coming soon. I see candy friggin' trade routes. I know that we'll all have candy soon. Gee, don't go, let's go round tonight. It's bound to help our. There's a blue moon on the rise. Let's go again. Let's go round tonight. It's bound to help our lives. There's a blue moon on the rise. There's a blue moon on the rise. There's There's a blue moon on the rise.
I think it's a half moon. The tide's been really negative at night. The surf's up. That's my report for everybody. Justin, your last words. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, have a great day and enjoy your hump day today. Yes.
Care, everybody.
All right. See ya.
See you guys soon. Bye now.